Everybody, we're back. We're here to talk about the second BFL of the year. And actually, I wasn't planning on fishing this one, but it was at Dale Hollow, and they had a Saturday BFL at the at Dale Hollow Lake for the Mountain Division, and then they had a Sunday Music City. So I was already down there for the Music City BFL on the Sunday, and we decided to just jump in. All the guys at the house decided to jump in the Mountain Division one. It was actually probably the windiest day of fishing that I have ever experienced. We had like 45 mile an hour gust, and there was a lot of people that didn't even return back to weigh-in. So it was pretty bad. It was pretty scary running across the lake. I ended up running up the Wolf River again to about the same area that I started in the first Music City BFL. There was still a lot of fish there. They were still really pressured, but I figured if I could go up there and pick up one or two and then see how the day went after that, we'd go from there. But I pulled into that area. The fish really weren't there. They weren't biting, and so we kind of just slowly worked our way to the bank. And it actually stormed the night before, and there was a lot of run-in. There was a lot of run-in and water coming into the lake. The backs of the creeks were starting to get really muddy for Dale Hollow standards, and we got a bite. So we got one bite around this run-in, and I missed him, obviously. I flipped in there, got the bite right when it hit the water, and the fish, it just didn't hook up. But it was a decent fish. Wasn't a big one, but it was a decent fish. So that kind of gave me a clue, and I ran with that for a little bit, and I started running the backs of the creeks and ended up catching my first keeper in the back of a creek on a chatterbait. And so then I went a little while, didn't get a bite, and decided to pull up on this bluff that I got one bite on in practice. When I pulled up on this bluff, we started catching them left and right on a jerkbait. So the water was a little clearer there because it was in the back of a creek. It was the main portion of the Wolf River. So we ended up catching a limit on my jerkbait there, and so I was pretty happy about that. Now we're going to go fish some muddier water with my chatterbait and try and pick up a bigger fish or two. So I did that for a while, and I think I ended up culling twice doing that, and ended up with a pretty decent day, honestly. With the weather conditions that we had, we ended up running back to the ramp like at 1 o'clock, even though we weren't doing until 3 or 4. We ran across the main portion of the lake, and kind of got back and fished around there as much as we could. But it was really rough. I actually had my trolling motor pop up at one point in time and go into the water. So while I was running down the lake, so that was kind of scary. And my buddy speared a wave, and there, like I said, there was a lot of people that didn't even make an attempt to run back to the weigh-in. They just kind of waited it out. So as far as the baits that I used, like I said, I caught them all on a jerkbait and a chatterbait. So for the Mountain Division BFL, I caught them on a Megabass Vision 110 Wakasagi color, and that's kind of got a brownish back on it and a little purple in it, but that's a color I like to throw sometimes, and obviously they were biting it that day. Had a lot of followers, but I had a few that commit, and that's all that matters. So, and then as far as my shallow water game plan, I was throwing a little 1/2 ounce jackhammer, Z-Man jackhammer, with a Beehive Delight color and a green pumpkin blade minnow. So Strike King makes these trailers for chatterbaits that I usually like to throw, and it's a Strike King blade minnow and green pumpkin. So pretty good bait to throw on your chatterbaits. Any bait that you have confidence is the main thing. But I was throwing those chatterbaits up into the shallowest water I could find in the backs of the creeks, and those fish were sitting there was so much current running in to some of those creeks, and those fish were sitting as far up as you could possibly be. And I'd throw my chatterbait up there, and they'd hit it around any wood or anything that was in the water. So that's pretty much how my day went. If you like the videos, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.